Hi guys, welcome to another Blender tutorial. If you are a new subscriber, I upload every day video. It's gonna help my channel, 1000 subscribers, let's go. Today I'm gonna show you how you can recreate Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power intro in Blender. I know guys, you hate this series, but basically they just using, as you can see, some particle system, and the particles just creating those kind of shapes, yes? And I'm gonna focus on this shot. Basically the particles just gonna turn to those 9 circles, yes, circle kind of shape, but they're using the same technique through whole intro, yes. As you can see, the particles just turn to this 3 kind of shape, yes, and they're using, like I said, the same technique through whole intro. I'm not gonna recreate shot by shot on this intro, but you can do this, okay, using this technique. I'm just gonna show you the technique what they're using basically, and how you can use this in Blender too. So I'm in Blender, I'm gonna select this cube, X and delay, Shift A, and on the curve I'm gonna add circle, and I'm gonna just travel and duplicate this circle. So Shift D, GX right here, and once again Shift D, GX, and I'm gonna move this maybe right here. Now hold Shift and select all circles and Shift D, GY, and I'm gonna move this up. And once again Shift D, GY, and I'm gonna maybe move this down. On this intro there are not basically the same shapes, yes, those circular shapes. Does make sense. This is bigger, this is smaller, you get the idea. So you can reshape those. I'm not gonna focus too much on this, but you can do this, okay, if you want to recreate this intro. So you just selecting this circle, tap to go to the edit mode, select the edge and GX, and just move on this direction, select this edge, GY, to make it bigger, something like this, yes, and GX, select this, move around, yes, to create different kind of shapes. Like I said, I'm not gonna focus too much, so I'm just clicking tab to go to the object mode, and I'm gonna select maybe this circle, select this edge, GY, okay, and click tab. It is what it is. Like I said, if you wanna recreate shot by shot, play around on those reshaping stuff. I'm not gonna do this. So what next? Just hold shift and select those 9 circles. Okay, I'm just holding shift and selecting by the left click, and Control J to basically create one object. And this technique basically works to whatever object you wanna apply, and the particle is gonna turn to this object, because we're gonna apply some force field to this object. So Shift A, on the mesh I'm gonna choose plane, S, and move the mouse to make it bigger. Go right here on this icon, select of course the plane, on this icon click this plus, and on the velocity, on the normal just turn this to 0 right here with its value, yes, 0. On this viewport display you can change this right here to velocity if you want to see better the particles. And right here on this fatal, whatever it's called, you have the gravity option, and just turn this down to 0. Now if you have better PC, of course you have just turn up the particles number. I'm gonna turn something like 15,000, but you wanna turn this to 100,000 or maybe more even, because look how many the particles basically they're using. They have good PC to render this stuff. I don't have this, so I'm gonna keep it low, but the bigger the number, the better results you're gonna have. Now what next? If I'm gonna just click spacebar, my particles just appear to the plane, of course. So I'm just selecting my object, yes, that I create from those spherical shape radius right here, and on this icon I have my force field. And what force field we're gonna use? Basically just change this from force to harmonic, and you wanna change this from point to the curve. And if I'm gonna just click spacebar, it's already my particles just turn into this stupid spherical shape, yes. But you can play around on the strength right here and crop this a little bit up. I'm sorry, I'm fucking sick. Yes, to have different kind of results. I'm not gonna, like I said, give you the values, because whatever results you wanna have, you can just put the number. I think something like maybe 20 or 40, 30, something like this, give this kind of results. And if you have if you want to have the result as like the particles just disappearing for the shape, you want to animate this third value. This is optional. I'm not gonna focus too much, like I said, on this one too. But if I'm gonna just click spacebar and play around on this length, as you can see, they just turn to different kind of shape these particles. Yes, so you can basically animate. This is 0, and just my advice, keep it to 0 if you wanna keep this spherical shapes. Yes, 0, and you can basically animate to particles just disappearing or whatever. Yes, to create a different kind of shape. As you can see, and you can change to another object if you want to animate this. Just click right here, 0. Yes, maybe 100 frames right here, 0, and apply keyframe and move to 110 and just apply whatever number you want. And once again, as you can see, this is spherical shape. Let's go, and the particle is gonna turn, as you can see, and you can turn whatever part shape you want next. I'm not gonna, like I said, play around on this stuff, but you can do this, okay? So my suggestion, just keep it to 0 right here, this whatever length, third value right here on this harmonic force. Now, what next, guys? I'm gonna show you, because they using on this intro, as you can see, they have different kind of size of those particles, and they using I don't know, some kind of sand material or whatever. Yes, like I said, this is just basic idea, and I just show you the basic idea. But what do you want to do? You can use Blender Kit. I'm gonna use Blender Kit, but you can use whatever object you want. You can add maybe sphere, GX, I'm sorry, and I'm gonna move this right here, and maybe I'm gonna search for some rock 3D model. Yes, and I'm gonna just click N, and I'm gonna search for some free models right here. Yes, on this Blender Kit, and I'm gonna click low megabytes because my PC is shit. And you can add whatever objects you want. You can add one object, you can add a couple of objects. Yes, because those particles gonna turn to these objects basically. Yes, to this collection, because we're gonna create a collection. But you can use one object if you want. I'm gonna show you. So I'm just selecting some racks and GX and moving around and play around. Yes, play around on those stuff. So what next? Basically, you wanna select whatever particle is gonna turn. Yes, whatever object you wanna use to the particles. You can use, like I said, whatever object. You can, you know, create some object or use some stone or rock object. I'm just gonna click hold shift and select those 3 objects and click N to add new collection. And you can rename this, you know, I'm gonna rename this too, and click OK. So I'm gonna use this collection. Like I said, you can use one object. So what next? Select the plane, of course, and you have on the render right here option changes to collection, and select your collection of objects. I'm gonna select those 2. Yes, basically the particles are the stone and this sphere. If that makes sense. Fuck. I'm sorry. I am sick. So you can select like yeah, like you see, the particles are rock and some sphere. Yes, and I can rescale the sphere because it's too big. Right here, and you can play around. Basically, I'm just gonna select this plane and play around. My PC is slowing down because my PC is shit. You can play around on the scale and right here on the roundness of the scale, because some particles gonna be bigger, some smaller, like in the trailer. Yes, some particles are bigger, this is bigger, this is smaller. So you can play around on this stuff, and you can add one, just like I said, object. Yes, just changes to object, of course, and select the object that you want. Maybe I'm gonna select one object because my PC is lagging. Okay, now it's a little bit better. So basically, as you can see, those racks gonna turn to those circle shapes, and the results that I'm gonna render is gonna be shit, because I use less number of particles that than use. They just use, like I said, something like maybe 1 million particles or whatever. Look at this. I'm just using 15,000 or whatever. because my PC is shit. But the more particles you're gonna use right here on the better the results you're gonna have. So what next? Basically, you just wanna go to the cache and just bake this. And basically, as you can see, the particles are moving and creating this spherical kind of shape. And you can place the camera. I'm just gonna place some camera and show you, yes, the results. I hope, as you can see, my PC is slowing down because it's fucking shit. But if you have better PC, of course you can render more number of particles and play around on those shape, okay, if you want to recreate this. Now something like this, and basically just play around on this, on the lighting and on the plane, like in the trailer, yes, to try to recreate this. And on the material of the models, I'm just using one model, but you can use collection of models if you want. The particles gonna turn to those. You get the idea. This is simple fuck. I'm just explaining and explaining. So, what next? Basically, you can apply some material to the plane. So select the plane, and you have Blender Kit. Of course, you have some free materials, or maybe you can create your materials. So just click new, or maybe download from fucking internet. I'm just gonna change the color as something like this, maybe, and I'm gonna of course turn the light down. Why not? And try to recreate basically the same light and the same color of this plane, yes, to create the same color of the plane and the same color of the particles. Like I said, the bigger the number, it's gonna have better results. My gonna be shit, as you can see. It's like barely couple of particles. It's fucking shit. So, and like I said, you can use this technique. Just apply to some fucking, as you can see, to this, to some model harmonic force field, and just turn on the particles gravity down and velocity tag my English, normal down, and you are ready to go to create particle kind of shapes. And just apply some 3D model, of course, to the particles, yes, have better results. So I hope it's not gonna lag in. If it's gonna lag in, I'm sorry. So as you can see, my particles just turned to this fucking mess. And of course the lighting placement of the lighting is important. I hope it's not lagging. I'm just gonna play around on the placement of the light to give better results. This is already better. And basically I'm just gonna select my rack object, yes, that I use, and go on the material, delete material, and like I said, you can apply wherever material you want, you know, the same like they using, yes, some kind of sand or the same color. So I'm gonna use maybe some yellow or whatever, something like this. And if I'm gonna just turn, as you can see, I have the basically, and I'm gonna just play around on the placement of the fucking light because it annoys me a little bit. No, that's kind of good, but I'm gonna turn the light a little bit down, something like this. And if I'm just moving around, as you can see, the particles just reshaping. I hope you see the results. Reshaping to this shape that I basically create with those circles, yes, this one object. And they're using the same technique, basically. It's not, I know this tutorial suck, but I want to show you the basic, what they're using. This is the same basic technique, like they just reusing the same, like, oh, they're creating this kind of stuff. Yes, so as you can see, particles are moving and they just create better material and better bigger number of particles and play around on the light and stuff, yes. And of course I can apply maybe some this light and apply on the fucking plane some darker material, yes. Like I said, you can apply better material. This is just simple color. You can play around on this stuff. I just show you the basic, okay. Fuck this tutorial, guys. I hope you get the idea. Harmonic force field, turn the gravity down the particle system, like I show you. On the velocity, on the normal, just turn this down. and play around on the strength of the harmonic force field. And you can add, of course, another force field if you want to create this kind of messy, maybe turbulence, and play around on the turbulence more to create not the circle, fuck my English, this perfect kind of circle or shape if you want. Use this technique to recreate this if you want. This is basic stuff. Thank you for watching. They're using this technique. Okay. I'm gonna render this. Fuck. I am fucking sick. Fuck this tutorial. I need content on my channel. Play around on this stuff. Thank you for watching. See you on the next video.